Here's an interesting little connection that just goes to show you how worldwide we are all connected through the internet. Oleg Bolishkovich, anyway, he's a guy in Russia that I buy much of my wood from. As a matter of fact, all the Chechen burl that I have, I bought from him. Remember that this I didn't get from him, but I have a lot from him. Remember that red-handled, what am I calling this? The Texas 45, which this is the new Texas 45. I've got probably two more. That was an internal burp, sorry. I've got two or three more of these shorter Texas 45s here. Anyway, the last one I actually sold to someone near me in Louisiana, just over the state line, not far from the veteran cemetery that I was at. That red handle came from Oleg in Russia. Well, anyway, he's not able to send or receive or ship, and he doesn't know when he's going to be able to. So that's just how connected we are worldwide. Now, that red handle, I had ordered that from Oleg so long ago that I actually forgot that I ordered it. So I'm just sitting here thinking about lots of stuff, the world in general. I don't know where this is going to end up. By this, I mean the Ukrainian thing right now. And to be honest, I can't make up my mind whose side I should be on. I'm on the side of innocent people who are losing their lives, that's for certain. But I don't know where the right and the wrong is here, because we are being fed. I mean, just when I think poor Ukraine, bad Russia, I hear Russia's side saying, look, we are being surrounded by NATO with missiles aimed at us. Can you blame us? It would be no different than Russia showing up and putting missiles in Cuba. Oh, wait, that happened. Remember that? And we didn't like that. And all Russia was asking for in order to not invade Ukraine was assurances from NATO and the U.S. that we would not make Ukraine a NATO country, and we wouldn't give them that assurance. And I think I would be just as mad as a Russian with Americans putting missiles, or having Ukraine join NATO, as an American I would be with Russia putting missiles in Cuba 90 miles from our Florida coast. So I don't know, and I'm not going to make it. The big picture is I don't care who's right or wrong. I care about the innocent people who have nothing whatsoever to do with the ideology of either country, or the political pundits, or the elites who somehow always seem to, number one, keep their children out of harm's way, and number two, profit from war. So it doesn't matter. I'm not going to, kill myself over who's right and who's wrong, because it doesn't matter. What matters is that innocent lives, non-combatants, are being killed and uprooted and run out of their country and chased from their homes. And right and wrong takes no precedence over the suffering of innocence. So that's where I stand. And I was just pointing out how interconnected we are. This is not a big, big world anymore. This is a very small world. And all it takes is a button to be pressed in Russia for Americans to be affected, and vice versa. I now can't order the wood from a person I've grown to trust over the last several years. He's always got the best specimens of wood, and stabilized to the highest standards and packaged to a OCD level. And I've done All my overseas business I've done through Oleg because he can be trusted and he can be trusted with my money. I've gotten screwed many, many times by people in other countries. And Oleg is basically the only one out of the United States that I'll do business with now. And he has proven to be a very reputable, trustworthy guy. And he's actually got a huge reputation on Facebook because he does great work, great prices, quick shipping most of the time. I mean, it's coming from Russia, so you can't. Sometimes it comes by boat, sometimes it gets shipped over here on a plane. So you can't blame Oleg for the time it's shipped to the time it gets here. That's out of his hands. And anyway, I'm just sitting here thinking about all the other things that may be affected. By the way, I'm not sanding knives. I have one more grit to go on this before I can polish it, and then heat treat it and temper it, and then clean it up and repolish it. So I'm probably like not quite halfway there with this, but I'm telling you, I just don't know what is going on with my shoulder. It's not getting better. And I'm taking a drug that's supposed to help alleviate joint pain, and this is like my fourth night of taking it, and it's not doing anything. And I'm taking it in conjunction with ibuprofen, and ibuprofen, you take it long enough in large enough doses, and it can damage your kidneys. So I'm so, how do you balance trying to alleviate your pain versus destroying your kidneys? You know what I mean? And then I have the added caveat of a drug that I have to take every single day or I will die. And I say that, I said it before, and I don't say that to be dramatic. I say it because it's simply a fact. If I don't take my Synthroid, my body shuts down and I die. My organs stop working. And it's not a pleasant death. And that's another thing. Our medicine comes from all over the world. And my Synthroid actually is made here in America, but the components that make the Synthroid come from all over the world. So now I'm not going to say how many I have. I'll say this, that I'm probably good for about 3 years of Synthroid. And if we were in a situation where I couldn't get my medicine, we would also likely be in a situation where my access to food would be cut significantly, reduced significantly, and I would be forced to lose weight, a lot of weight probably. And the reason I am on 200 micrograms a day of Synthroid is because I got a huge fat body. And, if I didn't have such easy access to food, I would probably drop 100 pounds in, a year. And I do believe that I can get by on half the Synthroid that I'm taking now a day, probably 100 micrograms. So, there's that. I mean, I might be able to stretch that out to 4 or 5 years. Anyway, I'm just thinking out loud, or thinking quietly to myself. I'm not going to do a whole lot out here. I cut 2 of these out, and 600 is my next grit on this. I may just give it a couple of quick strokes and just see how my shoulder feels. I sure do want to at least get this one done. And I've watched a lot of videos. Kyle Royer, he's one of the top knife makers worldwide and on YouTube. And he showed how to get these shoulders where the finger guard fits even. And I don't know why I didn't think about that. And I even have one right here. It's a file guide. And I can't believe I haven't used this. Anyway, I will use it on these, and I will actually use it on this to get these once and for all straight all the way across. So that's where I'm at. I have nothing interesting, nothing at all interesting to say, think, or do. I am bored to tears. Every time I come out here and do something, it hurts, so I stop. And tomorrow, which is Monday, you'll see this Monday, I'm going to be leaving my house at about 7:30 in the morning, and it'll be about 28 or 29, which will make it closer to 0 or less on the motorcycle. That's 70 miles an hour, because I'm going up to Diana, Texas, which is up Highway 259 north of Longview. And I have a choice of cutting through the woods at about 60 miles an hour or getting on the interstate at 70 miles an hour, which the difference in cold is not very much. So I think I'm probably going to go the interstate and then up 259 out of Longview and just endure the extra degree or two colder, but several, probably 20 minutes faster getting to Diana. Anyway, if I think of anything else to say, we'll be back. Oh, there is a new channel that, well, you know what? When I get home, I'll show you 2 channels I think you might be interested in. If you're an outdoor kind of person, a fishing, hunting kind of person, it's my friend Big John. He lives, in between Interstate 30 and 20 on Highway 259. About halfway up or so, and that's, anyway, he does a lot of hunting and fishing videos locally, and we text back and forth sometimes. Good guy. But I'm gonna give a link to his channel, and another guy that I think you might be interested in if you like musty, if you like 65 Ford, if you like Donnie Boy and Terrell and Pterodactyl and Steve Small Engine Saloon and Double Wide 6 and the guy over here in Terrell, Texas, forget his name. He does some funny stuff, but he works on small engines. Frugal Prepper. If you like those kind of fix-it, kind of eclectic videos, or they do a little bit of everything, mostly centered around fixing stuff, I'm going to give a link to that guy's channel too. So, but I'll do that when I get home. Alrighty, I am going to probably drink another cup of coffee and do a little more thinking. Okay, these are, I just wanted to show you the difference between the old Texas 45 and the new Texas 45, and it's exactly 1 inch difference. I'm ready, this is ready to be buffed. It's at that stage, but I'm not going to buff it today. It's just too cold in my buffing room. I can afford to heat this room up. I mean, I'm still wearing a jacket and my my knit hat and a thermal underwear shirt under my shirt. I mean, it's just that cold out here with the heater on, and I can't afford to heat up the buffing room for 2 hours of me being in there. It'll take it 2 hours to heat it up, and then I'll be in there for 2 hours. And tomorrow I'm going to that funeral, so I won't do this tomorrow. Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, we may go for a long ride one of them 3 days, depending on which day is going to be the nicest. So the next step is buffing and heat treating and tempering, and then cleaning it up and putting a handle on. So I have 2 left of the original Texas 45, which is basically just a BC special with a hidden tang. And then these are the new Texas 45s, and one of them is tentatively spoken for, Steve's. So I've made a little progress, and I sanded a little bit on this. I sanded it up to 600, and I don't feel bad. Tonight I'll know. There's Lucy Bell. I'll know tonight for sure. But anyway, God, I just can't stop thinking about all this crap that's going on. It's happening so quickly that when you think, okay, well, I'm not going to worry, and something else happens in just the minutes I have between the last clip and this clip, and some other things have happened, and I don't know. I'll tell you what. Let me tell you what my suspicion is and what I'm planning for. And again, I don't know any more than anybody else. All I know is what I extrapolate from the conglomeration of news I put together from sources that I have grown to somewhat trust for their information. As that's, nobody else can do any more than that unless you're over there on the ground and you know what people are thinking. So here's my suspicion, is that this is going to escalate because this seems to be taking longer than I think Russia thought it would be over quicker, and that Belarus would be willing to acquiesce and give Putin some concessions. But it doesn't appear that's happening, and it seems like Russia may be up against more than they initially thought. So I think this is going to escalate, and if it does escalate and we see it on TV, there's going to be an outcry for intervention, which may be all contrived. It may be all that they want. I found it very suspicious that our media, long before Russia actually invaded Ukraine, were making threats and making, knock this block off my shoulder kind of taunts. And it seemed to me like they're doing everything but trying to deter a potential worldwide conflict, since we're talking about a heavily armed nuclear country. So it doesn't seem to me like near enough effort was put into trying. I mean, we put more effort into talking Kim Jong-un into not launching nuclear missiles than we put into trying to come up with a solution for this problem between Putin and Ukraine. I think if 45 was in there instead of the imbecile, I don't think we'd be having this problem, because he was a negotiator. Which brings me to the belief that I don't believe they want to negotiate a solution. I think the powers that be want a war. And I suspect that they're going to purposely try and escalate this. And I further suspect that the way you and I will be affected is extreme increase in prices, and eventually the unavailability of things we need, and quite possibly cyber attacks on our banking, our water treatment, our electrical grid, our fuel manufacturing. I mean, they're all extremely vulnerable, and they have proven over and over and over that they can affect us and hack us. I mean, look at all the businesses with the latest anti-hacking software that are easily hacked and held ransom by these companies, by these, not companies, hackers, which may be backed by a country, and I think they are. North Korea, China, Russia, I think all have government actors that are hackers. That's my belief. So I suspect, my friends, that very shortly the world that we know will change in significant ways. I do not think that this is going to go nuclear, because I don't think Putin is insane, and there's no way anybody wins in a nuclear war. But I do think that we will pay a price for our not having a good negotiator in the position of president, and instead having a Mr. Magoo, a potato head, and the vice imbecile. That's my thoughts. Okay, enough of that. I'm trying to just go through my day and have a happy day without filling my head with news, but it's damn near impossible to when something this earth-shattering, earth-changing is happening. And maybe there are people that don't realize the potential for extreme changes. And maybe ignorance is bliss. I wish I didn't think about this and I could just live each day as though I had nothing to worry about. But anyway, I'm going to do a little work on these and these. I'm going to just get them shaped a little more. And that's going to be it for me today. And when I do come back to work in the shop, which is probably going to be several days from now, I'm going to get this buffed, heat treated, tempered, cleaned up and buffed again, and then to the point where the hand is ready to have a handle. Oh, okay.